When it comes to the most popular conspiracy theories all around the world, aliens visiting Earth is usually a theme near the top of the list. And while science does grow more and more confident that aliens should exist, most of the more out there claims share something in common. They insist that the government is in some way hiding aliens from us and refusing to tell the truth. But what reasons could they possibly have for doing that? This is Unveiled, and today we're answering the extraordinary question, why would the government want to hide proof of aliens? Do you need the big questions answered? Are you constantly curious? Then why not subscribe to Unveiled for more clips like this one, and ring the bell for more thought-provoking content. For today's video, we're not directly looking at whether or not the government really is covering up proof of extraterrestrial life. Most people have an opinion on that, and feel free to air yours in the comments section. But rather, we're considering some of the possible motivations a government could have for an alien cover-up, if that is what they're doing. What we know is that stories of alien sightings are increasing around the world, and in America especially, particularly since the US government took the unprecedented step of releasing an official UFO report detailing supposed alien sightings in June 2021. Interest in aliens is peaking then, in part because we now have a batch of well-known, compelling accounts provided by apparently reliable sources, such as the US Air Force and Navy. Nevertheless, read through that same seemingly watershed UFO document, which covers sightings from 2004 to 2021, and you come to the somewhat anticlimactic conclusion that there was, in its view, no direct proof of aliens in any of the cases featured. However, the report also fails to give clear alternative explanations for almost all of those featured cases too. And ultimately, perhaps the biggest takeaway from it is the apparent effort by US authorities to swap out the much-used term UFO and to replace it with UAP, or Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon, instead. A move considered by some as an attempt to distance these inexplicable sightings from any suggested alien activity. With reported sightings still going up, though, and from all kinds of sources, it seems the terminology matters little. Perhaps one of the most convincing cases ever filmed comes from the US fighter pilot David Fravor, for example, who in 2004, along with other pilots, reported a strange object with seemingly impossible propulsion over the Pacific Ocean. Arguably a still more famous case, however, centers on the engineer Bob Lazar, who claims to have been hired by Area 51 to investigate and reverse engineer alien technology in the 1980s. Lazar's stories have attracted their fair share of skepticism over the years, but still managed to ignite the UFO conversation. So for these examples and the many others that are similar, the question remains as to why the government would be so determined to cover up alien life on Earth. One reason why people think the government is lying in the first place is because they've kinda done it before, and regarding alleged alien incidents specifically. The Roswell crash in 1947 is a prime example here, as that UFO was initially reported as a flying disc before being rebranded as an ordinary weather balloon instead. But then, in the mid-1990s, the Air Force backtracked again to reveal that it was, in fact, a nuclear test surveillance balloon for the then top-secret program called Project Mogul. Given the political situation at the time, it's perhaps easy to see why the government might want to have kept some of those details quiet. But there may have been another reason, too, the possibility for mass hysteria. Back in 1947, any mention of nuclear or surveillance might have triggered a major public reaction. But equally, today, any mention of alien invasion could do the same, and a national or international panic could be calamitous. One of the most famous examples of mass hysteria in history, a phenomenon closely linked to conversion disorder, is the infamous dancing plague in 1518, where some 400 people in Strasbourg uncontrollably danced, according to reports, leading many to ill health. The reason for the dancing plague is still undetermined, but it's thought conversion disorder in general can come about due to extreme stress and can manifest itself in unexpected ways. If everyone on Earth was to learn that aliens are real then, and enough people were scared, anxious, stressed, superstitious, or any number of other emotions about that, then the possible response could be impossible to predict. At the very least, some argue that it would trigger chaos and lawlessness, and the last thing a government wants is public disorder. So that's one reason why proof of aliens might be kept under wraps. Fear of hysteria isn't the only thing that could hypothetically be influencing the authorities, though. And the real motives for a secretive government might have less to do with its citizens and more to do with its enemies. Throughout history, we've seen how governments try to balance the possibility of being attacked by neighboring powers. And so to maintain an equal playing field, it's in each country's best interest to appear at the cutting edge of science and technology, to ensure they can't be overpowered by others. Were the United States or any nation to encounter advanced alien technology then, it might be deemed best if they were to learn how to use it before they revealed it to anyone else. If they hid proof of it until that point, the chance to gain an upper hand could feel too great to pass up. Consider how, during World War II, the US, Germany, and others were rushing to develop the atomic bomb, knowing that whoever had it first would essentially win the war. For those who say governments have proof of aliens, it could be that a similar power struggle is happening today. When David Fravor caught his UFO on camera, for example, the apparent propulsion tech, far superior to anything he'd ever seen, was the major talking point. There are, of course, multiple possibilities here. Either another nation has the superior tech, the UFO is theirs, and the US are lagging behind. Or the UFO is in some way America's, it's just that America doesn't want even its own citizens knowing about it. Or the UFO is alien, and the US wants to keep it under wraps to learn from it. It would still likely be extremely difficult to keep such a massive secret from other nations, however. Looking back to World War II again, for instance, the Soviet Union reportedly learned covertly of the Manhattan Project, the plan to build an atomic bomb, before even America's own FBI did. But finally, perhaps the real situation is something of a merger between keeping citizens and potential rivals out of the loop. Because whether aliens really do exist on Earth or not, it's clear they make for an excellent distraction. Area 51 has long been the hub for alleged alien activity, with all eyes on the Nevada desert whenever there's even a sniff of an ET story. But there's some argument that this most famous location for an alleged cover-up could also be part of a cover-up itself. That the US and global powers use ongoing stories like Area 51 and infamous UFO sightings to distract from other news stories, pieces of legislation, international developments, etc. of the time. Or even that locations like Area 51 are used to distract from the real truth about aliens on Earth. After all, if you were an undercover US agent and you knew that aliens were among us, would you choose to house them in the one place everyone else on Earth expects them to be? Perhaps you wouldn't. The general idea for this line of thinking is that there's an even bigger picture out there somewhere, much more significant than even evidence of alien life, that governments hope to hide from the public too. Just what that bigger picture is, however, is unknown. If you have a theory, let's hear about it in the comments. But to finish, we should mark the separation between UFOs and proposed alien life itself. With the 2021 UFO report, the US government concedes that there are strange, often inexplicable objects in the sky. And there are so many individual accounts from the general public of the same thing. Vastly fewer people claim to have met real aliens, however. And the UFO report doesn't deal at all with alleged alien encounters. Precious little from the government ever does. Perhaps that's all part of the secrecy, or maybe it's a fair reflection of what the authorities actually know. For sure, it's an issue that will continue to stoke debate, but those are some reasons why the government might want to hide proof of aliens. What do you think? Is there anything we missed? Let us know in the comments. Check out these other clips from Unveiled, and make sure you subscribe and ring the bell for our latest content.